Sabah al-Khair, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And it's for UNESCO a very important moment. And I would like to extend our message of gratitude and thankfulness to all of you on behalf, of course, of our Director General, Madame Audrey Azoulay, and on behalf of the regional UNESCO office in Cairo. In fact, the opening sessions or the kick-off sessions means the beginning of something that started many months ago, even 2 years ago, I would like to say. And this is the case of the proposal of a hackathon that UNESCO and MATCOR will present today. So I used to say that this is a perfect combination, a multilateral agency of United Nations working nationally with a private enterprise. You know what is the message of the Secretary General of United Nations? There is no one single meeting, a very big meeting, that Antonio Guterres avoid or just to put aside one very important sentence. And the sentence is, we cannot achieve the objective of the 2030 agenda without the private sector. And this is something that we try to execute and to implement at any of our implementation role. And this is a case, of course, of our UNESCO regional office in Cairo. 2 years ago, I have the opportunity and the chance to meet with a very important representation of the private sector in Egypt, a familiar but big-scale enterprise, I would like to say, enterprise, and that was MATCOR. I will try to describe you where. It was the green area in Sharm el-Sheikh, and we arrived very late, one day before the opening. And when we entered into the pavilion of UNESCO, I saw an amazing, very interesting modeling of all what happened with the Shiva Oasis. And our neighbor was MATCOR Group. So since that moment, and even strengthened the collaboration since the COP28, we arrived here with the idea to introduce to you what is the result of a backstopping kind of collaboration, a very clear, yes, it's okay. A very clear understanding of the principles of one and the other. And in fact, my first word is a message of gratitude to the family. The family is here today with us, part of the family, part of the large family. But we are thankful for all family. And it's a pleasure, Mr. Hesham Mustafa MATCOR and your family representatives that are here with us, your relatives. Thank you very much. We feel sometimes like an extensive part of your big family. Thank you so much for this kind of complicity in thinking together about this hackathon. UNESCO, with the support of different kind of ministries, have prepared in Egypt different kind of hackathon. But this hackathon is a little bit special. That's why we would like to produce a kickoff of the hackathon during the Cairo Water Week. At the very beginning of this year, the Minister of Water and Irrigation of Egypt decided to open one of our first seminars. And the first seminar was attended as well by the family MATCOR. And that was related to desalination. And it came with a conclusion that, of course, it's absolutely important to focus the attention in Egypt in the Nexus proposals. That's why, since that moment, we really emphasized the Nexus ideas, the Nexus possibilities, opportunities in a country that have a solar energy, no end, but which kind of energy production? Second point, water scarcity, and a third, which is much more important as well, not always food security. So with all of these three main reasons, we have decided, of course, to consecrate our effort to Nexus. How to better understand the interchanges, the interfaces between food, energy, and water. And this is the main purpose of our common endeavor. Since that moment, we have started discussing together about modalities, about the roadmap, and the part of that is going to be presented to you today. But why the Cairo Water Week? Because we have invited as well very prominent, well-known experts all over the world, and it's important for us to better understand what is the next frontier of research, what is the kind of next hypothesis to confront, and the way in which our Nexus proposal could be aligned to that. When thinking about Nexus, I have been working at UNESCO 25 years. And there is always, in a big organization, one lesson that you need to learn since the very beginning. Go back in time, try to do research in your archives, and try to understand what Nexus means since the beginning of your organization. And in fact, there is a problem because I cannot synchronize. Yeah, this one. The first one. Is that? Okay, let's start. If we can have a look to the very origins of this kind of three components working together. So we as archaeologists work in trying to detect and to decipher what was the origin of this kind of worries at UNESCO. So at UNESCO in 1985, we have already planned some clean energy proposals, policy making kind of documents. In 2007, we have even proposed such a kind of a Nexus proposal in terms of how to improve the urban ecosystem management and, of course, the role of education. We have even included some of our projects in the Habitat 3. I remember you that the Habitat 4 is going to happen in Cairo in very few days. So UNESCO was at the very front and the avant-garde of the global thinking, and Nexus took a very important position when thinking about conflict, even gender considerations. Important as well, in 2018, the final report on eco-hydrology. It was very important, and that was the way in which we enlarged the scope. It was not just by subject, but thinking about environment and thinking about environmental systems and nature-based solutions. So that was good. And the next, I would like to say that this kind of work that UNESCO managed with other agencies in 2021 was really, really the way in which we set the action and we set the scene for the interchanges, interdisciplinary approach. And of course, there are two aspects that UNESCO put on the table to discuss globally, and one was about all of these kind of interlinkages and interdependencies. So it's not that I'm related to your kind of work, it's that your work and my work depend each other. So that's the point. And of course, all the stakeholder engagement. Very important one, our colleagues in Venice put forward this publication, is a result of very interesting kind of pilot project, and they used the biosphere reserve. They are going to use even the World Heritage Site in this purpose. And in 2023, I think that is a really kick-off of UNESCO in terms of Nexus, because the partnership and cooperation for water, which is the main report that UNESCO is coordinating with the rest of the UN agencies in terms of water sciences, yeah, that was extraordinarily clear in terms of how to use the WEF Nexus framework for whatever kind of policies, namely the program number 9 of the Hydrological Intergovernmental Program of UNESCO. Moreover, we have made research about which of our networking are closer. and not just networkers or whatever kind of partners, but centers category 1, centers category 2 of UNESCO, associated on daily basis to our action, as well as different kind of partnership with universities, give us this picture, which is a very important one. So a center in Koblenz, Germany, there is one representative here with us. In the case of Stockholm in Sweden, another very important in terms of data producer and of course technical assistant for whatever kind of projects in the both hemisphere. The Delft, Netherlands, so one of the first kind of a setting of UNESCO, and Lot in Poland, and another very important one that made something very interesting and very interesting for our hackathon is the center of Thessaloniki in Greece. They put together local and indigenous knowledge. That means all the issue which is related to the citizen science that I posed at the very beginning in our former session, and they encapsulated this kind of effort in one single title that I say this is extraordinarily important. So it's something like the traditional use of water management for the survival of the near future. I think that's important, and this is something that is in the air here in Egypt, that we have a civilization of using energy, water, and of course food over the last 8,000 years. We have very interesting kind of proposal to be inspired by. Is the case of the Hunan University in China, so this kind of advancing research, but education capacity, because we have been requested as well to be able to set up a curricula that from A to Z, 5 years, and that has been requested by the Minister of Water and Irrigation in Egypt. What we need is a new curricula. It's not just a multidisciplinary issue at the very end, because we are going to waste and lose the time in preparing the specific kind of profiles to be together and to try to speak all the same kind of language. Let's start from scratch and let's change and to prepare a common curricula. The Nexus framework, you know about that, so I'm not going to, because I know that some of our speakers are going to put a finger and to try to go deeper on that, but you know, it's about interdependencies. But the interdependencies have always difficulties, because we are not coming from the same kind of institutional culture, because we are not coming all of us or the same kind of disciplines, because it's not very useful to find a multi-sectorial ministerial department or just a governance system to put all the ministers involved together, because it's not very easy to enable, to make a landscape, an industrial landscape, an entrepreneurial landscape suitable for Nexus at a go. So you need to prepare the scene, and this is something that did not happen very, very easily. Whatever that is improving the water sector needs to improve as well the two others. So the balances are extraordinarily important. Trade-off and balance here need to be calculated in a more precisely way. We come to our hackathon. What do we have in mind? What we have in mind is the difficulties of the curriculum. That means how to affect and to improve one part without provoking it, without involving the kind of produce a domino negative effect on the two others. It's not so easy, but we have here even examples that try to cope with successfully. In the case of our hackathon, so of course isn't a bilateral kind of cooperation with the private sector, with MATCUR and with our regional office that is attending namely Sudan and Egypt, but a liaison office with all the League of Arab States, and I think that's important for you to see the scope of our action. Whatever that we are going to prepare and the results are going to be replicable in all of our Arab states environment. Since the very beginning, in my meetings with the Minister of Water and Irrigation, as well as the Minister of Sport and Youth, and with the Minister of Communication, Information and Technology. The three of them are involved, will be involved in this very important hackathon. Because we need this hackathon to be a very good representation of Egypt. All of these ministries are tentacular and have a very important representation in the 27 governorates of Egypt, and this is something that we, of course, take into consideration since the very beginning, to try to be effectively working at subnational level. Important for us, the youth empowerment. I don't know, we have been bombarded over the last 2 weeks about the results of the General Assembly of United Nations. And you know how important was one specific document that is called the Pact of the Future. And this Pact of the Future focused a lot of pages on youth. And this is exactly the kind of a target public that we are going to deal and work with in the hackathon. That means the youth empowerment is not something that we can't, take it for granted. So 1.2 billion of youth are the youth population of the planet. 32 millions are in Egypt. So this is not such a kind of a social capital that we need to disregard. That's very important. And of course, to create collaborative environments. When thinking about that, we can think in group of young professionals, PhDs, that came from one academia kind of environment, but meeting with another person working in a specific, perhaps domestic enterprise, and with another one thinking about in terms of business or in terms of market. But all of this is, of course, welcome to our hackathon. I put always a COP27 because it was the very, very beginning of our relationship. And more than, that means we are all in the same ship, and we know how important it is to develop from this part of the world a very successful, domestic, practical, real solutions. And we understand the capacity of the youth to, as a new millennial, so interesting in technological innovation, interesting as well, of course, into all the whatever kind of a learning process, and they used to collaborate for whatever kind of academic task. The eligibility is between 18 and 30 years across the Arab region, but one of the representatives should be, of course, Egyptian, the lead one in principle. We would like to look for innovative solution addressing the interconnected challenges. Of course, we rather prefer to have 3 or 5 members in each group, each kind of proposal for participation. But what I think it's important as well is that, as Mr. Mostafa just said, if there is one good idea represented by one individual, we can support this individual to create a working group and to try to present and to go ahead in our hackathon. Of course, we, whatever kind of proposal, need to be very clear in the terms into this interconnectivity is exposed as a fundamental part of the methodology. Of course, we need to understand how they work together, how the collaboration is happening. What is the idea development, the way in which we are going to organize boot camps, we are going to organize mentorship of those ideas. It's very important for networking, for this hackathon and for whatever it's going to happen in the life of the participants. And visibility and funding, there are 3 prizes that could be, of course, awarded financially and academically. And we would like to follow the issue and all the roadmap until the kind of the application is in the market, or at least in the first time, or in the first steps of its complete and full applicability. We have already some experiences all over the world, but we think that this one is specifically suitable for Egypt, suitable from Egypt, and is very timely, and the Water Cairo Week is one of the key kind of scenarios just for this to happen, and to take into consideration all of your ideas that could become ingredients of our, of course, recipe. The criteria And this Cairo Water Week, as I told you, and this kind of exchanges that are happening during this week are going to be taken into consideration to refine the criteria. Because in 2 weeks' time, we are going to inform about the final opening, the real opening, and in the Makur, at UNESCO, in all the institutions associated to UNESCO, and to the 3 ministries, we are going to start the call for proposal. Technical innovation and idea and strength, so how novel is your approach, and which are the methodologies of, or the steps for implementation. Low cost, this is something that we discussed as well at the first session. So, is domestically practicable? It's what is the kind of affordability of this process? It's important for us the entry point on creativity and originality. So what is the kind of, if it's something that already exists, what is the kind of an angle that we are going to use to be much more useful to attend bigger audiences? Scalability within the region, very important, how to adapt to different kind of scales, and what is the degree of implementation, the real implementation of this idea. And the business model, and we are going to support business model roadmap for very good ideas during the 6-7 months of the hackathon. Important for us that, of course, is extraordinary, fundamental to have a very, very good representation, gender balance, and whatever that's covering this very important elderly between 18 and 13 years old from the academic point of view. We know that the hackathon had an enormous kind of impact in families, in persons, in academicians, in scientific departments, but of course in society. And this is something that we need to measure, and of course we are going not just to implement such a kind of a evaluation criteria, but as well the way of implementation. So we are creating our own knowledge during the hackathon. Important for us as well during the hackathon to explore all that is private sector, as well as with the research alliances. What is the I+D proposal? What is the kind of technological transfer which is needed? And believe us, we can mobilize an enormous geography of contact and institution associated to our endeavor. Here we have met experts about groundwater, about desalination, about green water, which is our specialty within the Pan-African cooperation in AWARE. We have discussed about the water consumption patterns. We have, of course, discussed about sometimes the difficulty of regional integration of planning even without the Arab region. So for all of this, we consider that the proposal should be very important in addressing optimization, water consumption, conservation, energy conservation as well. And it's an really, we trust that this hackathon is an enormous and very big collaborative platform, not just to inspire the winners and not just to inspire and implement solution, but for us, a very inspiring force for whatever is going to happen in the water and food and energy plans of UNESCO in the years to come. I have with me today different kind of presenters, and I will present each of them, and I will invite them to visit here in the podium. Some of them have a presentation, some of them no, but they are going to contribute with their thinking. First, I would like to invite Karim from Matkur. Could you be so kind to visit here, please? Karim is leading an exciting new adventure at Matkur Corporate Entrepreneurship Initiative. So we know very well Matkur about its high reputation in energy and infrastructure projects, but right now it's even bigger ambition and bigger investment in terms of renewable energy and sustainable solution. So they are going through the youth generations as well to go ahead with the new technologies, innovative engineering solutions, for clean and sustainable utilities. And of course, that aligned perfectly with the objective of the hackathon. Thank you very much for being with us. We have established as well a very good collaboration with the Minister of Planning. And the Minister of Planning, Ambassador Bart, put here a very interesting project in Egypt in trying to select youth proposal, low-cost proposals sometimes, and green proposals. So the Minister of Planning had put forward a very important platform of youth ideas and practicable ideas. And we have here three very important projects. Two of them are going to be presented today. So it's my pleasure to call Dr. Sanar Ahmed. Please, could you come here to the podium? Dr. Sanar is a soil scientist. Is a PhD in agricultural science from the Alexandria University. Is a research professor at the research center. Of course, has spent a lot of time on some of the projects that she is going to present are related to the soil water pollution and the way in which nanotechnologies are alleviating some heavy metal intrusions and problems. And of course, all of them trying to minimize as well the environmental impact. Thank you very much for being with us. It's my pleasure as well to welcome Dr. Shireen El-Agroudi, please. He's a professor of environmental engineer at Aisham University. And is the founding director of Egypt Solid Waste Management Center of Excellency, the first place winner at the national initiative of the Smart Green project that I have just mentioned. PhD studies on Ryerson University and postdoctoral university at Yale. The impact of Dr. Shireen's work has been recognized by L'Oreal UNESCO Fellowship, which is in collaboration as well with UNESCO. She is going to present a very interesting kind of, I don't want to say, because I don't like very much, only reduce this kind of circularity to circular economy. No, it's a circular society. It's a kind of circular service for society. And I think it's your project presents a very good approach to that. Thank you very much. I would like as well to call to the podium Dr. Mustafa Etz, which is our focal point with the Minister of Youth and Sport. It's really great to have you here, as well as. Okay. I have just been told by my colleague, Dr. Zaki, that the representative of the Minister of Communication, Information and Technology is here. Dr. Nahel Mohammed is here. Thank you very much. And of course, it's my great pleasure to request the presence at here as well at the podium of Dr. Lakshmi. Thank you very much for being with us. As the President-elect of Hydrology Session, American Geophysical Union, and is a very well-known newcomer professor of engineer at the University of Virginia. He has been discussing in the previous session, of course, a lot of different areas of interest of UNESCO. He knows very well our work, and he has been invited by UNESCO, I think, over the several decades, I would like to say like that. Of course, doctorate in civil and environmental engineer, but thinking and, of course, working at hydrology, satellite data validation, and, of course, a lot of field experiment, and he has just demonstrated in the previous session. So it's really a pleasure to have you here. It's my big pleasure to share this fantastic working group and let's say the thinking power of different generations, different disciplines, academic, civil servant, but all of us joining Matkur at UNESCO in this very important initiative. Thank you very much. With this, I would like just to give the floor to Matkur representative, just to start inspiring us. Please, the floor is yours. No, him.
Put it here. So
Perhaps the technician can support us as well. Don't want to.
Okay, I think I can.
Perhaps. It's okay.
This is Nima. This one.
This one?
The last one, yeah. Thank you so much. Yes, it's open in the background.
Open.
Thank you so much. Hello everyone, can you hear me? I'm just want to make sure that you can see the presentation, so just give me 10 seconds, please. هو ده البرزنتيشن بس هو PDF هتشوفه بس ظهر كده تمام المفروض إن هو كده ظهر خلاص ممكن أكبر الشاشة حلو أوي كده زي الفل طب شغال Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it's my pleasure to be here with you today representing Madkur Group. I hope that you can all see my presentation. So first of all, it's such an honor for us to participate in this hackathon. It totally aligns with our objectives and vision at Madkur Group to empower the youth, to find innovative solutions and help in meeting the sustainable development goals and also the pact of the future that was just agreed upon lately. So first of all, I would like to thank all the partners and supporters for this event, definitely starting with UNESCO, Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Water Irrigation, and also Ministry of Communication and Information. Okay, so for some reason, we shared the same picture. Yeah, I think we were inspired from the same source, but it's such a pleasure again. So again, I think at Madkur, we are well positioned to lead the implementation, and we are the forefront of the implementation of such projects when we talk about world, energy, food, and water. And when we talk about the nexus of them all, we have the means of implementation, and we can proceed to take the best of ideas that will come out of the hackathon. But what we want is really out-of-the-box ideas. We want youth, we want fresh minds, and we want brains. The rest we will be able to support, and we want to support. We are actually looking for you. I remember not long ago when I was in the university, I actually participated in a lot of the similar kind of competitions, and unfortunately most of them would end by just maybe giving a monetary prize or just staying at the podium and everyone clapping for you, but then there is no next steps. But actually the incentive, when we talk about this specific competition, the incentive started from that we want implementation. So actually one of the best platforms that we found is to support projects like this one. And we are really encouraging all the youth to use all the resources. And I think, thank you, UNESCO representative, that they have went through all the details for the competition. Use all the resources, and we'll be with you throughout the way to make sure that we have the highest qualities of the ideas presented. Okay. So again, a similar photo, but I think it gets the vibe of the nexus. So we have energy, we have food, and we have water. And I think most of the presents here are experts in the topics, or maybe even one of each of the topics. But why did we decide to have one that have the nexus for them all? First of all, we can't solve one without the other. For example, when we talk about energy, and we talk about one of the biggest investments that are happening in Egypt in the energy sectors, we talk about green hydrogen. And in order to produce large amounts of green hydrogen, you need fresh water. So you wouldn't be able to reach the potential that you need to in energy without water. Same goes for water. In order to do water desalination from the seawater, you need energy. And when it comes to food, you have heavy water consuming food and other alternatives. So at the end of the day, when we found that we want to solve a specific issue, and specifically when we talk about renewable energies, one of the latest projects that we were working on, we need to balance out all the other factors. So I think the challenge, the nexus that we have here, that we ask the students and the participants in the challenge to try to find a solution for, is to optimize not only on one factor, but these three factors. And I think it's not an easy task, but I think that's why we made a competition for it, and that's why we look forward to the innovative ideas. I think it's also important for the participants not to start from the ground, not to reinvent the wheel. There are already existing technologies, right? And I think it's good that in this competition, we have all the sectors of partnerships that are needed to make this a success. We have a UN agency, we have governmental representatives, and we have private sector. And since we are today representing the private sector, I want to tell you that we are focused on the solution. So what we care about is to have a solution that is relevant to the region, relevant to Egypt. Maybe it was implemented somewhere else, but it can't be implemented here in Egypt due to certain constraints. That's your addition and that's your contribution. Maybe it can be implemented, but it uses much, much more water, for example, than what the circumstance that we have here. So this is the kind of solutions and the kind of ideas that we are looking for. And again, we will provide all the needed mentorship and all the needed support for the participant throughout the program. And even after the program, we will have and support the best ideas to have their projects implemented and move to the real world. So when we talk about finding the best solution, the WEF nexus, or the water, energy, and food nexus, is not just about the technology, okay? It's very important to be aware that it's affected by many factors. For example, and definitely starters, is the technology. Second is policy and frameworks. Third is financial aspects and economical aspects. Fourth is geopolitical aspects. So all of this must be taken into account when you try to find a solution. So you might have the best solution, it's not financially feasible. But you might have the best solution, but due to geopolitical tension, it can't be implemented. Again, I'm reminding you, are really focusing on the implementation. And that's what we want the participants to provide. So they need to take all of that into account. Also, there are some things that might push your solution to make it easier to implement. And this is the slide that I'm presenting. For example, the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation, in COP27, they launched the AWARE initiative. And it's one of the initiatives that focuses on water adaptation and resilience in climate, in relation to climate. And it can be one of the venues that you can get support and financial support for your project. Also, when we talk about Sharm el-Sheikh Adaptation Agenda, again launched at COP27, it's one of the main frameworks that you should align with and see how your solution is aligning with the global trends, because this is how you get support, again, financially, from the political wise or policy wise as well. So this is something that we definitely encourage all the participants to do. So now I want to highlight how Madkour Group, for the last couple of years, we have already been very invested in the nexus of the world food, water, food, and energy nexus. For example, we have a lot of investments in renewables, and we're starting, as was said, a new venture when it comes to green energy and renewables. We have also worked on the CWWW project, and this was the presentation that we did in COP27, and I think this was the opportunity where Madkour and UNESCO got to know each other and start these amazing partnerships. And also we have the Toshka project. We have a lot of work there and a lot of investment there. And I think the three projects that we just shared cover the three aspects of water, energy, and food. So again, we are at the forefront of implementation. We have all the means to implement. What we need is the best ideas that can or are ready to be transferred directly into the market. Finally, I want to also highlight Madkour's will and power to empowering the future generations. And I think me being here, a 25-year-old, representing the group in this competition, is a testament to how they empower the youth. And actually me also starting with them this new venture when it comes to green energy and so forth is an example of what the outcomes of the hackathon might be, right? These are the kind of youth that we are seeking, and these are the kind of youth that the company supports. So I think we have all went through the goals in details with the last presentation. I wouldn't worry with it again. But finally, I just want to wish all the partners the best of luck and also all the participants. And we are really looking forward to all the solutions coming from the hackathon. And I hope that at the end, it's an educative experience for all the participants. And at the same time, they also get to enjoy and have fun and definitely network. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. A pleasure to listen to you. Perhaps just, well, when you put aware, it makes me think about UNESCO is aware as well, because we are the green pillar of that. And speaking about green water really is speaking about all the cycle of water. So, and of course, AWARE give us with the hackathon a possibility to be replicable in all the Pan-African geography. And I think that is a good example just to be presented here. Thank you so much. Let's go now to Dr. Sanar and the possibilities about the soil science vis-a-vis the new frontiers of the hackathon. Please speak about your experience.
My presentation. Hello, welcome for all. My name is Sahar Ismail, Assistant Professor in Desert Research Center, Ministry of Agriculture and Land Reclamation. My project about innovative natural technology to treat water contaminated with iron for sustainable development in the New Valley Governorate. New Valley Governorate is one of the most important governorates in Egypt because it represents approximately half Egypt's area. These governorates heavily depends on the groundwater for different activities in agriculture, industry, even in drinking water. But this groundwater is fresh water, but contain high level concentrations of iron concentrations. Ranging from 42 to 5-7 times higher than the permissible limits by FAO and WHO. The iron found in groundwater is dissolved. The eye not seeing this dissolved iron, but when pump this water from the well to the network, our irrigation network, the iron is oxidized and transformed to the rust. Rust is precipitated in the network tubes and clogging, and causes a blocking in irrigation network and reduced diameter of pipes, as well as increases the traditional energy consumption. Additionally, the accumulation of iron in the soil causes adverse effects on the crops, particular tuberous crops like sugar beet, like potato, like peanuts. These crops refused for exportation. However, this solution, the method used to overcome this problem is construction of iron sedimentation in the fact basins to reduce the deposits of iron. But this solution is not effective for overcome this problem. Our project idea is use of agricultural byproducts derived from processing of some crops or some byproducts from processing of crop residuals. When these materials are, I make some improvements to reach nanomaterials. Nanomaterials is effective material capacity for iron absorption, reach up 500 times the concentration of iron present in the water. Our objectives was to obtain the reduction in iron contamination in groundwater to levels with FAO and WHO standards. Discontinue the use of iron sedimentation basins and use them to other applications. Particularly, these sedimentation basins use a large or very large land or soils. Important or most important, converting the agriculture waste, which is a large amount available in Egypt, into available materials for water treatment. This cost-effective, very, very cost-effective. Like 1 kilogram is 20 piastres, 20 piastres only. Last step, must produce the treatment material. This material known Aquafix. This new material and but this material is very, very soft because in nano form. I success to convert it from nano powder to into small cylindrical pellets, like as picture. Project beneficiaries all inhabited in these governorates, including investors, farmers, breeders, workers in agriculture and the local industry, as well as similar regions within and outside of Egypt, and can export this material outside in Egypt. Future expansion, 4 stages: first stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage. Current first stage, I produced this material and transformed to pellets. But I can to setting a factory to produce this proceed substance in pellets in form in large quantity and for distribution or commercial distribution. The third stage, expanding to other cities in the New Valley and similar regions in Egypt. The last stage, exporting this material proceed to similar countries which faces to the same problem. Integrating sustainable solutions for food, energy, and water. The relation between the relation between energy, food, water plays a important role in sustainable development, and for focusing or removal of iron, excess of iron in water highlights this interconnection. Excess iron in water not only treat to human health, but also treat to agriculture and animal production because it's impacts of water quality used for irrigation. Number 2, employing this material or new material, we can significantly reduce the energy needed for conventional water treatment process. This contributes to lower energy consumption, which directly support sustainable energy goals. Moreover, clean and safe water is essential for agricultural activities and improving water quality through iron removal, enhance crop yields, and ensure healthier food supply. The integration of this natural solution into water management strategies not only ensure cleaner water, but also positively impacts both the energy and the food sectors with reduced energy demands and improved irrigation practice. Agriculture systems become more resilient and productive, addressing food security challenges. Also, in this way, the environmental benefits of this approach are clear. Not only does it reduce industrial waste, but it also enhances the sustainability of water management systems, which in turn support agricultural productivity. The combined effect of improved water quality, energy savings, and efficient use of agriculture byproducts contributes to more sustainable and environment-friendly industrial ecosystem in Egypt. Thank you for attention. Okay.
In fact, everything is circular, and you can see that some of the solutions are connected and even complementary with other kind of solution. Because whatever that is considered waste for you is considered not raw material, but the key material for our next presenter, which is Dr. Serene. The floor is yours. You can put it. Yeah, there.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you, Dr. Nureya, for this kind invitation. I would like to present quickly in 5 minutes what we have been doing at Egypt Solid Waste Management Center of Excellence that's kind of related to the WEF Nexus. So Egypt Solid Waste Management Center of Excellence is located inside Faculty of Engineering, Ain Shams University, and this is an invitation for all of you to please visit us whenever you are there. The center is ISO 17025 certified, as well as we have been the first place national winner in the Smart Green Initiative last year. Okay, so who we are and what we are doing, we are doing 3 things: research, we are doing capacity building, and we are working on consultancy. All of this is the objective is to improve solid waste, to work on producing more renewable energy from waste, and to improve the public health. We provide technology development, consultation, R&D, and lab analysis. What we are working on in particular within the WEF Nexus is we are trying to produce compost and refuse-derived fuel. This is a type of energy that's being used intensively right now within the cement factories. So we are trying to solve the interlinkage between food and energy. We'll let you know how we are doing this. So I know all of you are aware of the municipal solid waste. This is the type of waste that we produce from homes, so and from the commercial areas. So 15% of this municipal solid waste contains some parts of construction and demolition waste and some sand. And whenever we import equipment from outside within the recycling factories, we always have this problem that the equipment that we are importing is not working perfectly here in Egypt. So that's the challenge that we try to solve. And we try to solve this with our industrial partner, who is Mansi Hydraulic. So through R&D, we developed innovative, very efficient and cost-effective technologies for 3 equipment within the recycling facility, which is the bag opener, the conveyor belt, and the fine shredder. Due to the time limitation, I'm not able to tell you in details what we did, but whenever you visit us, I can give you a detailed presentation on how we, kind of modified these 3 equipment to fit our particular municipal solid waste. So it's not that we did this only in the lab on a research scale. We implemented this in 2 recycling facilities, one in Damietta and one in Suez. So both are treating around 440,000 tons of municipal solid waste per year. And with this technology, in producing compost and RDF, we could produce around 200,000 tons of compost that can be used to cultivate 32,000 acres per year. And on the other hand side, we're producing around 75,000 tons of RDF per year. That's producing 300 gigawatt hour of electricity for the cement industries. What we did in the enhancement of these three equipment led to an increase in the performance of the municipal solid waste recycling facilities by 30%, contribution 20% reduction in the greenhouse gas reduction, and of course we increased the lifetime of the equipment and reduced the maintenance cost. Again, this is an invitation for all of you to please visit us. We are a separate building inside Faculty of Engineering, 4-story building, 450 meters square. Please feel free. This is my LinkedIn link, and thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. But it proved, of course, a kind of merging between the marketable kind of approach, the kind of facilities, the civil, and no, I think it's that proves all of the kind of inter everything, even inter-institutional kind of culture. So thank you very much. I wonder, Professor Lakshmi, when looking at your very short CV, and looking at about modeling experience, agronomy, mega projects, engineering, water management. So it seems to me that you put together all the nexus, but all along your career. I have two questions for you. One of the questions is how we could produce a fast track for the new students and PhD students, vis-a-vis how to save time, not just being how to create a kind of community of practice and community of knowledge that can start interacting as soon as possible without being lost in translation between disciplines. So that's one of the questions, because I think you are, of course you have, with all of these peer reviews and academic research, you have a lot of students around you, and that they are perhaps suffering of overcoming these kind of difficulties. The second question, Professor, is about the new frontiers of research. If you need to address us or to channel our intentions for the near and prospective future through sciences and nexus, what should we do? That was the two main questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Sanz. Thank you, Dr. Sanz. It's very exciting to be here on my first ever trip to Egypt. One of the things you have to realize is that all the research we do in the world in hydrology and water resources is all transferable. So if you're studying arid agriculture in the Middle East or arid agriculture, it's all connected to each other. One of the best prospects in the continent of Africa and in the country of Egypt is the fact that you have such good capital in young people, which you mentioned. I think there are a couple of low-hanging fruits. One is for professionals. There is a lot of very good professional societies which meet all over the world, especially in earth sciences, especially in hydrology and water resources. A couple of these come to mind where obviously professionals like the people sitting on this podium or anybody in the audience is welcome to attend. The first one is the American Geophysical Union, which has about 70,000 members, and of which 7,000 belong to hydrology. And they always have a meeting in December in United States. This year it's in Washington, D.C. The second big meeting is the European Geophysical Union, which meets every year in around April or May in Vienna. And there are some other meetings, regional meetings. One of them is AOGS, Asia Oceanic Geoscience Society, which meets in some place in the Pacific region, Singapore, Korea, Australia, etc. Next year they're meeting in Australia. So for professionals like yourselves to go to these meetings will help to educate the world on the water resources and sustainability problems, the nexus problems, water, food, and energy in Africa. And that's very important because you can, it's a two-way street, as I was mentioning this morning. The problems in the continent of Africa, in the country of Egypt, in arid land agriculture, linking sustainability, especially in the food, energy, and water nexus, is very important, and it's very transferable. The second low-hanging fruit is that there's a lot of scholarships and fellowships. You know, United Nations is one, of which UNESCO is a part of, and some other country fellowships. So you can take advantage of them to send young people over to other countries, not just United States, but any country, to pursue research so that they can go with them the knowledge of this economy, this environment, and these climate problems, and try to find the latest tools to solve them. And I think, as I said, it's a two-way street. I mean, I think the problems in the continent of Africa are global problems. They're not African problems, they're global problems. And understanding and producing a path forward for sustainable agriculture, sustainable energy, like some of the speakers spoke about, and sustainable energy is very, very important. And I think there's a lot of potential, and you know, I will try to help in any way possible to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. In fact, we were thinking this morning about the way in which some of our candidates of the hackathon could be, of course, invited to the States and coming back, or invited to different kind of countries and coming back and try to put forward experience and of course, trying to solve problems that are common in these communities, international communities of interest. So that could be great. Thank you very much, Professor. We have 2 words for our collaborators, and it is my pleasure. The order depends on you. I'm not going to use, like always in diplomatic kind of setting, like the alphabetic English order. No. Up to you. Please, the Minister of Communication Information Technology, as well as the Minister of Youth and Export, just to give and express your commitment with this hackathon. Thank you very much. Youth and Sport.
Thanks for all speakers. Thanks for your informative presentation and speeches, especially Karim. I'm very proud of you. Every step you have, every moving forward, I'm always proud of you and all your colleagues which started the works from our team in Ministry of Youth and Sport. Happy to see you. And it is a great pleasure for me to be here today on behalf of His Excellency Dr. Ashraf Sobhi, Minister of Youth and Sports. I prepared the speech on behalf of him. I will share it with you today, but also I would like to thank Mr. Hisham Matkour and the Matkour Group for their unlimited support for youth activities and innovation. It's very important to have social responsibility for the private sector in Egypt, and it is a good example for working. And also our dear partners and key partners in Egypt, UNESCO and United Nations in Egypt, they are doing a great support for our activities and our work and projects in the Egyptian government, and we are very happy about that. Dr. Noria Thans, the Director of UNESCO Office in Egypt and Sudan. It's my pleasure to be with you today and your esteemed team in UNESCO. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to be with you today on behalf of His Excellency Dr. Ashraf Subhi, who sends greetings for all of you. Unfortunately, he couldn't be with us today because he's in Luxor. Today we are gathered here for an important occasion, that launch of a groundbreaking initiative in cooperation with UNESCO and Matkoor Group. These partnerships aims to empower our youth and enhancing their creativity, energy, and innovation to tackle some of the most pressing challenges facing our country and our world, the interlinked issues of water, energy, and food security. At a time when Egypt and broader Arab region are grappling with the realities of climate change, resources scarcity, and sustainable development, our youth are our great asset. Through their initiatives and efforts, they will be given the platform, the mentorship, and the tools they need to develop practical forward-thinking solutions and will shape more sustainable future for us all. We are deeply grateful for UNESCO's continued support and dedication to youth empowerment, and we are proud to work alongside with them to advance these critical goals. The Ministry of Youth and Sports in Egypt has been at the forefront of addressing climate change and promoting innovation among young people. Through various programs and initiatives, the Ministry has actively engaged in youth in climate action, fostering a culture of environmental responsibility and sustainable development. One of the key initiatives is establishing the National Youth and Climate Committee, which aims to amplify the voices of young people in climate-related dialogues and empower them to participate in local and international negotiations. Additionally, the Ministry has partnered with multiple organizations to provide training and resources that encourage innovation, particularly in fields such as renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and water management. By integrating climate change education into youth programs, the Ministry is preparing a new generation of leaders who will drive innovative solutions to facing the challenge of our time. Today marks as the beginning of our journey, will not be only benefit the participants of the program, but this will also serve as a beacon of hope and inspiration for the next generations of leaders. Thank you all for joining us today, and we look forward to exciting milestone ahead to embark on this collaborative endeavor. Let us work together to make lasting difference and make our future better by our young leaders and young people. Thank you for all of you. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening all, distinguished guest partner and talented participants. On behalf of Minister of Communication, Dr. Amra Talat, I am delighted to extend our warmest congratulations to all of you on the successful launch of this Innovation Hackathon. Really, I don't have a presentation. I'm not preparing something special for the event, but I will try to be valuable for you and also to add some values in different way. As an expert, subject expert in hackathon organizations, I have participated for also organized more than 100 hackathons before. Then from my experience, I would like to give you some, as a participants, some important messages. Also, you can consider it as advices about your hackathon. During the presentations and the speeches that you listened and see in this session, you're hearing many times the word innovation. Then what could be considered really as innovation and what is not? This is very important point because we have facing this misunderstanding about the word in many different sessions and also events. According to all publications and research, if your idea is not presented at the market and generating money out of it, then you cannot consider it as innovation. This is not my opinion or the opinion of Ministry of Communication. It is always, in many publications and books before, for example, there is Joseph Schumpeter, who is called the prophet of innovation. Also Peter Drucker, also Kristen Sinkes, the author of Innovator Dilemma. Many authors are agreeing on this. If you are not in your idea, if not presented at the market, then you cannot consider it as innovation. This is the first point of my comments. The second point, always I see this, the successful hackathons based on 2 points. Are very well written challenges. This is one point, and the second point is the mentorship during the hackathon. If you have these 2 points very well prepared, then your hackathon will generate something very interesting. At this point, I totally advise you to have a very long time to understand the challenge and the problem. If you are not understanding the problem very well, you will create something that people doesn't need, which is a very big problem. Always remember that people are buying solutions for their problems, not your solutions, which is very different between two of them. And this, I have a recommendation in this point. There is a very interesting tool online called Problem Statement Canvas. You can download it and use it to understand the problem before starting developing your idea or your solution. The second point, you have to always to think about the business. As we said, innovation, it is always about the market and being presented at the market and generating money out of your idea. Then you have to think always about the business. And also I have a recommendation in this point. There is another tool called Business Model Canvas, and you can find it online. Okay. My third recommendation for you, to always keep your customer in your mind. During the hackathon and every stage, think about your customer and always thinking about it, not only the customer, also you have to think about the context of the problem, the customer within the environmental effect of around them. Also, I have a recommendation in this point. There is a very interesting book, and I'm very happy to say that the author is Egyptian, called Mindset to Startup, From Mindset to Startup. In this book, you will have a canvas how to understand your customer and the context of your customer. Just the 2 points, I will finish. Always bringing or thinking about bringing a prototype on the table at the end of the hackathon. Not only the idea, or not only a promising with I will, but there is no a real solution, tangible solution presented on the table. And my last advice is it is not a choice now. You have to think about including the CIT, Communication and Information Technology, in your solution. I know that most of you are experts in different technologies, but you have to think about how to include this communication and information technology in your solution. Because if you are looking, for example, to Gartner Hype Cycle, it is a yearly report, very interesting yearly report about emerging technology around the world. The last one, the CIT, Communication and Information Technology, on the top of the hype of the emerging technology for 2024. Then you have to think about using it in your solution. Okay, finally, I would like to invite all of you to use two tools presented by the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, and it is available for all Egyptians. The first one is called Creativa Innovation Hubs. We are creating innovation hub around Egypt. We have more than 20 innovation hub around Egypt now. At each city at each university or nearby the university, we have something called Innovation Hub, a place that you can go inside and doing all the research, developing your prototype, finding a mentor to your project. We also have an incubation, very interesting incubation program. We are giving 300,000 Egyptian pound for a startup to start building their startups, and it is without any equity in the startup. I may offer to host the hackathon parallel in other Creativa Hub outside Cairo in the same time of the hackathon in Cairo. The second thing that I would like to offer you to use it, the Egypt Innovate platform. It is an online platform. You can just type it now, Egypt Innovate platform, which is the center of gravity of innovation ecosystem in Egypt. You will find on this platform very interesting resources and tools that you will be able to use it to help to develop your idea and also to develop your startup. You will find many articles, courses, innovation tools, and all of this is presented in Arabic and English. And we have also articles from some international and Arabic writers. You will find on Egypt to Innovate a very interesting short course, for only 4 hours. You will learn something called business innovation, business model innovation, how you can develop your business model in very innovative way. Looking for your innovations that will rocks, and looking also for your startups, and we are very ready to support all of you on all levels, and personally I am happy also to be connected with all of you. Just search Nahel, Nahel on LinkedIn, and you will find me on the first choice or the second choice at most. I'm happy to be with you today. Good luck وبالتوفيق لكم جميعا.
Thank you for summing up all of the issues that we have discussed already with your minister. And of course, you have described in detail different kind of entry points that I have the feeling that we needed to go through in different moments of the hackathon. My experience with the hackathon is the most that you narrow any kind of a step and possibility is very practical, but sometimes perhaps you are going to lose a little bit of talent and freedom. And we need to balance as well on this. And of course, being here with us is not that we are going to consult you, it's because you are going to be part of this process. And we thank you very much for sharing your experience with all of us with this big generosity. Thank you very much. My floor is now with the professors. Just in the case you would like to have some ideas that you would like to, Professor, if you would like to jump here and to communicate according to your experience, what could be your idea, your advice for the hackathon group in terms of finding useful solutions for Nexus problems? Would you like to come, please, and to address some ideas.
Yes, my name is Will Logan, and I direct the International Center for Integrated Water Resources Management, which is actually part of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And the Corps actually has, it doesn't spend its time building dams anymore, it spends its time managing water. And it's managing water in difficult circumstances where, for example, in the western U.S., it was the infrastructure was built assuming farmers and ranchers. And that worked very well for the agricultural center. But then you had people who moving in, I mean millions, tens of millions of people, and so you ended up with the need for the energy. And so you had structures which were built for energy more than for water supply. And so then you just have all the people. So you had infrastructure built for agriculture, and then with energy on top of it, and then with the people and the recreation. You have all these beautiful lakes. People want fish in them. Downstream of the lakes, they want to be canoeing and kayaking, and so that's what we do a lot of. And when we're looking for youth to help us out, the most interesting ones are the ones that are cross-trained. And you'll see a student who has a biology undergraduate, and then you'll have an engineering master's and some sort of water resources management degree in there. And some people would say, well, this person doesn't know what they're doing. They don't know what they want to do. But getting a diverse background is something that's very attractive to us and to many others. So I would just say to the youth, and by youth I mean anyone under 60, I would say don't be afraid to try something new. It may not immediately, to the person who says, oh, you have to decide what you're going to do at age 15 and go, it's the people who have broad cross-training who then are the most creative when it comes to integrating different fields. They're used to learning something new. They're not afraid of it. So I hope that Egypt and the other countries here can attract some of those people who aren't afraid of new ideas and aren't afraid of learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are close to the closing of this very important moment for all of us. I don't know if you would like to address some specific questions to our attendees, or if you would like just to comment or you have any kind of suggestion for our activity. It's a moment of put the hands up. Any question, comment, suggestion? Everything is clear? That's good. So we made so far a good work. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you for coming from New Valley, long way away, but thank you very much indeed. We know how important New Valley is. We have been discussing even with Matkur the issues of sustainability in the oceans, perhaps some of the most extraordinary extreme landscape in the history of humanity, and some of the most important and special ones are in New Valley. So we know how this is interesting as well to be replicated in many, many other landscape of the desertic kind of geographies all over the world. Thank you very much for the Virginia University. I don't know if you are aware of that, but the only cultural place which is the UNESCO World Heritage Site in the United States of America is the University of Virginia. So you have a very big kind of responsibility here with all of us. It's always a pleasure to have you, to have all of our conveners in this former session. It's a big pleasure for UNESCO to have always the light and the brains at the service of the international community. Thank you very much to all of you for being here with us, and to be the conveners as well of following a step with the brilliant brains that, of course, will participate in our hackathon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shams University. You know that you are very close to UNESCO. You have different kind of chairs. Perhaps we can invent one day a UNESCO chair in your universities or in different kind of universities in Egypt as a good result of the hackathon. That could be great. Thank you to the Minister of Water and Irrigation. Thank you to the Minister of Youth and Sport and Communication, Information and Technology. And our big thank go really, really to Matkur Group, to Matkur family. Everything is our hands right now, but we have created a larger kind of familiar relationship with our hackathon. Be ready, all of you. We are going to prepare a real and final kickoff and a call for tender in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much for all the institutions that are represented here, international, national, regional institutions. And it has been really a pleasure to travel with you this journey, and more to come. I would like to thank the organizers of the Cairo Water Week on behalf of UNESCO. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you, the technicians. Thank you for your support. And I would like to thank you as well for, of course, being always with us, for creating a very big community of interest. And without finishing, I would like to thank my team, Dr. Bisher, Dr. Abdelaziz, Madarbala, Hoda, and of course my colleague Wala, without forgetting one alma mater of this idea and one of the big colleagues that will be with us in the hackathon, which is Clara Epperling. Thank you very much to you all. Thank you.